So how do you know which franchise is the best and which one you should pick to become your vehicle to becoming a business owner? Well, by the end of this video, you're gonna know because you're gonna get 7 questions to ask each franchise that you're evaluating, and we're gonna list them out right here. Because if you're about to leave your corporate career and jump into becoming a business owner yourself, franchising is a fantastic way to do it. You just wanna be sure you do it right. And I'm sure your spouse and kids and everybody want you to do it right as well. So this video is gonna keep you from making any costly mistakes. Now, we are gonna make one assumption in this video, and that is that you've already picked the industry that you wanna be in, and you're analyzing several different franchise brands in that industry, and you wanna be sure you go with the right one. So you're not gonna get a bunch of general stuff you can find about different industries and businesses on the internet. You're gonna actually get very specific questions that you need to ask. If you don't know who I am, my name is Matt Pinkarina. I also left the corporate world to become my own boss, to start my own business. And now I help you do the exact same thing and give you the exact path that I followed. All right, the first question that we need to ask or find out from each brand is around the model. Now, not just anything about the model, we want to know about the ownership model. Is it an executive franchise or is it an operator franchise? And here is what I mean. There are some franchise brands that require a full-time effort from the owner constantly. And they may not say it explicitly, but for example, in our industry, in the commercial cleaning space, there are many franchise brands that require owners to do the cleanings themselves. And if they don't say it out loud, their fee structure is so high and the royalties and costs and everything associated with it are so high that the owner has no choice but to clean themselves because they can't hire anybody to run their business. And that's not just the case in the commercial cleaning world, but there are plenty of other franchises where the owner just has to put in so much effort. And essentially, they've just paid someone else money in order for them to get a job. And that's really the opposite of what I would want to end up in if I was investing to become my own business owner. If you want to build independence financially, time-wise, with family, your best bet is to invest in what's called an executive style franchise. Executive franchise models are designed to allow franchisees to build a business that runs on its own. This is also known as a semi-absentee franchise. Now, good ones usually don't start off semi-absentee. It is recommended to put in a strong effort at the very beginning to build it up to a certain level, but your business should carry the permanence of your effort forward. Once everything's in place, you've got your team built, your marketing's done, everything's good to go, then you can just sit back and let your business run and you just manage it passively. So be sure to ask each franchise, what is their model? Are they an executive franchise where you're like an executive or a CEO, or is it an operator model where you're more like a manager? An interesting way to find this out, if you don't just want to come right out and ask them, is you can ask them why. Why did they franchise in the first place? What you'll find is that some brands were started because they just wanted to scale and they needed to have more people throw money in and they needed more people's time in order to do it, right? To make up for the lack of systems and efficiencies. You'll find with other brands that there's passion behind it, there's purpose behind it. They want to allow others to be able to build a business too, and they have the systems and they equip owners. So typically you'll see that the one where they just wanted to have other people's money and other people's time to grow it, that's going to be your operator model, and the ones that are backed by systems and passion are going to be your executive models. The second thing you need to ask is the ownership. Are they owned by private equity or are they owned by a founder? We'll call it an FD for now. Speaking in general terms, a private equity owned franchise system is going to be very profit and cash flow oriented. This means they're going to try to extract every dollar from their franchisees that they possibly can. They're going to have the highest franchise costs in place. They're going to have all kinds of different fee structures going on, and they're just going to be focused on the bottom dollar, typically. Then you have your founder-led franchise organizations. When a founder is the one who is leading the franchise brand, it has that energy with it. It has that family feel to it and that personal concern for your success. Now, on the flip side of that, private equity does bring a lot of backed capital with it. That means they're probably driving to add lots of locations all the time, which does help with brand recognition. Whereas with a founder-led franchise brand, you're typically looking at a lot of innovation happening at a very fast pace. These can be things like product and service improvements, new software they're introducing, special advantages they're trying to set up and get in with special organizations with. So generally generally speaking, if you want someone to be personally vested into your success, then a founder-led franchise organization is generally the best route to go. Whereas with a private equity one, there's probably less change happening in there. Things are just going to be the way that they are. They're going to extract as much dollars as they can. They're also going to try to help the company make as much dollars as it can. It's just less personal. So that's important for you to know and for you to decide. But here at the Assett franchise, we are founder-led. Myself being the founder. Number 3, this one's going to be around questions that you can actually ask existing franchisees, which a franchise brand should let you do. And the main question that I would ask them is, would you do it again? You'd be surprised what kind of answers you get out of franchisees across the country whenever you ask a question like that. Because that's what this really boils down to, right? You don't want to take such a major step of time and investment in a direction and then regret it later. I'm sure that you want to proceed knowing that you're joining a brand that others would join all over again too. Number 4, this is going to be, what systems do you get? And surprisingly, there are many, many franchise brands that brag about systems and brag about their brand, but really they're just an operator model and they're throwing you out there and you're going to fill in all the gaps where the systems are lacking. Here's what I mean. Within our industry, we have many competitors that all that they do is give their franchisees a piece of billing software. And then they'll also give them some how-tos, and then they'll also show them how to put together their equipment package for an account whenever they do get a commercial cleaning client, and then how to actually do the cleaning. But when it comes down to hiring and market intelligence to see what facilities are actually looking for contracts right now, things like that, they don't have systems like that a lot of the times. You want to be sure that the system that you get with the franchise are designed to get you to step out of the operation one day, to make it a semi-absentee business. And semi-absentee just simply means your business runs without you there the vast majority of the time. It's very realistic to get your business to run on less than 5 hours a week. And that's what you want to validate with the systems. How do they do that? If they say, well, that's what your people are, you just hire enough people in management to do this, then it does take care of that. Beware if they say everything hinges around just adding another person to your team, because that's an expensive cost. What you want to see are systems that minimize your need for people, that automate your business. Number 5, and this one's going to be around uncovering how responsive they really are to franchise owners, because those are the people who are in the front lines, right? They're hiring the teams, they're building the business, they know what they need. The question here that you want to ask is, what do you do now because franchisees asked for it? We're just going to write this as Z's asked. For example, in our brand, our franchisees asked for more control in our automated hiring systems. They wanted to be able to customize some things on their own without having to ask us at corporate to do it. So what do? We renovated the entire system just for our franchisees. Now, this question is going to be a little bit harder for private equity to answer because they're not as personally involved, and oftentimes private equity owns multiple franchise brands, including the one you might be checking out. A founder-led organization is typically going to be able to answer this question very clearly, and they're going to be able to give you timelines and exact examples of it. If they're founder-led or a smaller franchise brand and they haven't made, or even private equity, they haven't made any changes to the brand at the request of franchisees, I would be curious about what's going on. I would just want to be sure they really do care about my success and my lifestyle of owning this business. So it's a great sign if they've done things that franchisees have asked. Number 6, what are the constraints? So let's pretend this is a constraint here, right? What are the challenges and constraints that they alleviate for their franchisees? And what you're not looking for with this question is a brand that just says, oh, well, we give you a brand. We give you some basic software, right? Because those are challenges that any business owner is going to face no matter what they're starting. What you want to know is, based on the industry that this franchise brand is competing in, what advantages are they giving their franchise owners compared to all the other competitors in that industry? For example, in our industry, labor for our competitors is typically the major constraint. That just means that they struggle to find the people and to have the team in order to take on those bigger and bigger contracts and grow their business. A part of the reason that my business grew so fast and I could run it passively as well as with our franchisees is because we created an automated hiring system. We'll just say it with an SY. And what it does is it takes essentially a 40-hour job and reduces it down to as little as 3 hours per week. So while our competitors are burning at both ends, or they're having to pay somebody to do this, our owners don't have to. They don't even have to pay the money out. If they just want to give the 3 hours a week to run the system, they can. So we can grow faster and operate with more profit than our competitors and make sure there's no constraint for our franchisees. And a solid franchise brand should have a solution for a constraint like that, and if there's any other constraints as well. And then we have number 7, we need to understand why some franchisees failed. And what you need to realize is that most franchise brands do have failures that have happened in their past. And that shouldn't alarm you. What it should do is inform you. What you want to find out are why those failures happened. And what's a good sign of a strong brand is that if the failures happened because someone did not follow the system or the processes, they didn't adhere to the brand, they deviated from the business completely and tried to do their own thing. Because the reality of it is, a franchise is a franchise because it figured out a way of doing business that works. And if someone doesn't put the right amount of time in, or the right amount of capital in, or the right efforts in, or follow the right path, then yeah, they're gonna fail. But what you don't want to see when it comes to the failures is people who did adhere to the process completely, they've been compliant with the franchise the whole time, and yet their business still struggled. That is what will be a red flag. Look, it's an exciting time if you're evaluating franchises to become your own business owner. So I hope that these 7 questions help you analyze the options that you're looking at right now, and that it will single out a franchise brand that's made just for you. Because at the end of the day, that's the whole purpose of this channel, is to help you become your own business owner. Thanks so much for watching. Again, my name is Matt Pancarina. I was once in your shoes, having had a job, and jumped into the world of becoming a business owner myself. And that's what we do here at the Assett franchise. If you want to learn more about it, check it out in the links down below. Or if you want to see if you're ready for business ownership, take the free readiness assessment that's also in the links down below. If you know someone else who's checking out franchises or want to become their own business owner, please share this video with them. I hope that it's helpful to them. Please like, subscribe, and until next time, stay blessed.